Welcome to the Rare Coins Explorers. Have you ever wondered how a tiny piece of copper and zinc, something that most people barely notice in their pocket change, could possibly be worth hundreds of millions of dollars and become a legendary treasure in the world of numismatics? Today we are diving into the fascinating story of the 1975 USA 1-cent coin, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike. A coin whose face value might seem trivial at first glance, but whose true value has been skyrocketing to an astonishing $217 million due to its unique errors, minting anomalies, rarity, and the intriguing tales surrounding it. The 1975 penny might look like an ordinary copper coin with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on one side and the Lincoln Memorial on the other, but for those who know the details, it represents one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in American history, a coin that has become a symbol of numismatic curiosity and investment potential. The history behind this coin begins at the Denver Mint, where in 1975, the United States Mint produced coins under the standard processes of the time, yet some coins accidentally bore characteristics that were not intended, such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, and slight variations in the metal composition that occurred due to the complex machinery and human oversight involved in mass-producing millions of coins. These errors, which might have been considered insignificant at the time, have turned a humble penny into an incredibly rare collector's item because collectors prize coins that differ from the standard issue, especially when the differences are verifiable and documented. Over the years, a handful of 1975 pennies were discovered with these minting errors, and as word spread through numismatic circles, collectors and investors began seeking them out, driving up the value dramatically as the supply remained limited and the demand surged. The rarity factor is compounded by the fact that most of these pennies were initially circulated and spent as ordinary change, which means that few remained in pristine condition, and coins that were well preserved with clear markings, sharp edges, and minimal wear became particularly valuable. In addition to physical condition, certain specific types of errors make a 1975 penny extraordinarily valuable, such as doubled die-obverse coins, where the inscriptions, date, or portrait show a slight doubling effect due to a misalignment during the die creation, a phenomenon that is highly prized because it is visually striking and unmistakably distinct from regular pennies. Another key factor contributing to the value is the off-center strike error, where the coin blank was not properly centered under the press, leading to a portion of the design being missing or shifted, creating a unique piece that can never be exactly replicated, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for such anomalies. Beyond minting errors, some 1975 pennies also display variations in color and metal content, with differences in the copper coating or exposure to certain environmental conditions over decades, creating coins that are aesthetically unusual and historically interesting, further boosting their appeal in the collector's market. Over time, auction houses, numismatic exhibitions, and private collectors have set record-breaking prices for these coins, with some specimens selling for millions of dollars to the highest bidder, reflecting not only their scarcity but also the broader interest in coins as both historical artifacts and investment vehicles. The story of the 1975 penny is also intertwined with American history and the evolution of the Lincoln cent itself, as this coin was minted during a period when the United States was transitioning through post-Vietnam economic changes, the energy crisis, and shifts in industrial processes, all of which indirectly influenced the materials, machinery, and procedures used in coin production, inadvertently creating conditions for rare minting errors to occur. Enthusiasts of the 1975 penny often marvel at how something so small, often overlooked in everyday transactions, can carry such immense historical significance and financial value, reminding us that hidden treasures exist in the most ordinary objects and that paying attention to the details can reveal extraordinary discoveries. As collectors, historians, and investors continue to study, authenticate, and acquire these coins, the legend of the 1975 penny grows, not only because of the $217 million valuation that has been associated with it in top-tier auctions and speculative markets, but also because it embodies a perfect storm of rarity, historical context, aesthetic appeal, and human curiosity that makes it an enduring icon in the numismatic world. The ongoing fascination with this coin is amplified by stories of accidental discoveries and rolls of change, estate sales, and long-forgotten collections, where lucky individuals have stumbled upon these pennies and instantly realized that a simple, everyday coin could hold unimaginable wealth, creating modern-day treasure hunts that mirror the excitement of archaeological discoveries or rare artifact auctions. In addition, numismatic experts have meticulously cataloged and graded these coins using standardized systems, taking into account factors such as luster, strike quality, centering, wear, and authenticity, which adds credibility to their value and allows collectors to confidently invest in coins that might otherwise seem ordinary, knowing that their rarity and verified condition justify the extraordinary price tags. As the market for rare coins evolves, with collectors using online platforms, global auctions, and private networks to buy and sell, the 1975 penny continues to capture attention as both a historical curiosity and a financial asset, demonstrating how a small object can transcend its face value and become a symbol of status, knowledge, and investment foresight. In many ways, the story of the 1975 USA 1-cent coin illustrates the intersection of history, art, economics, and human psychology, showing how rarity, error, and narrative combine to create value in unexpected ways, and how something as simple as a penny can spark passion, competition, and awe in people around the world. The excitement surrounding this coin is contagious, inspiring new generations of collectors and enthusiasts to learn about minting processes, historical context, and market dynamics, ensuring that the legend of the 1975 penny endures well into the future. From its creation at the Denver Mint to its rise as a multi-million-dollar collector's item, the journey of the 1975 penny exemplifies how ordinary objects can achieve extraordinary status, how attention to detail and appreciation for historical anomalies can translate into incredible value, and how the thrill of discovery continues to drive interest in coins that are both a tangible piece of history and a potentially transformative financial asset. As you consider the story of this remarkable coin, it becomes clear that the 1975 penny is more than just a piece of currency. It is a testament to the unexpected ways in which history, craftsmanship, human error, and passion intersect, resulting in a treasure that captures imaginations, fuels investment opportunities, and cements its place as one of the most iconic and valuable coins in the history of the United States. So if you found this deep dive into the 1975 USA 1-cent coin fascinating and want to uncover more incredible stories about rare coins, their histories, and the astonishing values they can achieve, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more content that explores the hidden world of numismatic treasures and historical wonders. Next, 2005 Lincoln Penny. Have you ever wondered how a tiny, seemingly ordinary coin could hold a fortune beyond imagination and rewrite the stories of collectors everywhere? Today, we dive deep into the incredible tale of the 2005 USA 1-cent coin, a coin whose face value of just 1 cent belies its astonishing worth of $3 million, making it one of the most talked about and valuable coins in history and a shining example of how errors, rarity, and the thrill of discovery can transform a humble penny into a multimillion-dollar treasure. And as we explore this fascinating journey, we'll uncover every detail that makes the 2005 penny so special, starting with the context of its production in the United States Mint during a period when coins were being struck with meticulous precision yet occasionally escaping with subtle flaws that would one day make them legendary. Imagine a coin that rolled off the minting press along with thousands of ordinary cents, destined to be spent in everyday transactions, only for collectors decades later to realize that a few of these coins carried anomalies so rare and distinctive that their value skyrocketed far beyond their original denomination. These anomalies could include doubled dies, misaligned strikes, off-center impressions, or unusual planchet compositions that, in the case of the 2005 1 cent, resulted in a coin that is now sought after by numismatists, investors, and treasure hunters alike. And the story becomes even more intriguing when you consider the way such coins enter circulation unnoticed. Tucked away in jars, drawers, and cash registers, waiting for someone with a keen eye or the luck of chance to spot the subtle differences that distinguish an ordinary penny from a historic, multimillion-dollar find. And what makes the 2005 1 cent particularly remarkable is the combination of its historical context, production specifics, and the very limited number of coins exhibiting the defining errors, creating a perfect storm for value escalation. Collectors describe these coins as nearly miraculous, with minute imperfections or characteristics that only advanced examination tools can detect, such as microscopic die cracks, slight variations in the metallic composition, or differences in edge milling that hint at minting anomalies. And when you trace the provenance of such a coin, the narrative often includes stories of discovery in the most unexpected places, from the bottom of a child's piggy bank to the change found in an old drawer of coins, leading to intense bidding wars and auctions where the price can leap by hundreds of thousands, sometimes even millions of dollars. As collectors compete to own a piece of numismatic history, and the fascination with the 2005 penny extends beyond its financial value. It symbolizes the thrill of the hunt, the meticulous study of minting processes, and the almost magical transformation of everyday objects into extraordinary artifacts. Enthusiasts analyze these coins under magnification, comparing their surfaces to identify minute anomalies, documenting every scratch, die mark, and luster variation, all of which contribute to establishing authenticity and desirability. And the market for such rare coins has evolved significantly, with online platforms, specialized auction houses, and private sales creating opportunities for collectors worldwide to acquire these coveted pieces, pushing their prices ever higher as the rarity becomes more widely known. And experts often advise aspiring collectors to learn the subtleties of coin grading, understanding the difference between mint state conditions, circulated coins, and proof coins, because even the slightest imperfection or wear can dramatically impact the coin's market value, and the 2005 1 cent coin serves as a perfect case study, illustrating how factors such as low mintage numbers, unique errors, and historical significance converge to create a coin that is not only a collector's dream but also a financial marvel. The story is further enriched by accounts from seasoned numismatists who have spent years tracking down these rare finds, sharing tips on identifying key features, and recounting the excitement of uncovering a coin that defies expectations. And beyond individual collectors, institutional investors have also taken notice, recognizing the potential for long-term appreciation and including these rare pennies in specialized portfolios, reflecting a growing trend where even the smallest denominations can command astronomical sums. And the allure of the 2005 1 cent coin extends to educational contexts, where it serves as an engaging example in history, economics, and even chemistry lessons, demonstrating the intersection of human craftsmanship, metal composition, and market dynamics. And as we delve into the mechanics of the coin itself, one can appreciate the artistry involved, from the sculpting of Lincoln's portrait to the precise stamping process that impresses intricate details onto the copper-plated zinc planchet. Details that collectors scrutinize to detect anomalies that make a coin exceptional, and the cultural impact cannot be understated, as news of multimillion-dollar coins captures public imagination, inspiring stories, documentaries, and social media trends that celebrate the idea that even a small penny can hold monumental significance, highlighting the broader fascination with hidden value in everyday objects and the human desire to uncover secrets that have lain unnoticed for years. And in reflecting on the broader historical context, the 2005 penny illustrates a pivotal era in U.S. minting, where modern techniques intersected with traditional craftsmanship, creating conditions where rare anomalies could occur, whether due to changes in alloy composition, adjustments in striking pressure, or human oversight. And the result is a coin that embodies both a snapshot of history and a tantalizing puzzle for collectors, challenging them to identify, authenticate, and ultimately acquire these treasures. And as bidding records show, the value of such coins can rise exponentially, influenced not only by rarity but by story, provenance, and the narratives collectors attach to their finds, transforming a simple penny into a symbol of wealth, patience, and numismatic expertise. And for those who hold or seek a 2005 1 cent coin, the experience is not just financial but deeply emotional, connecting them to the lineage of coin production, the mysteries of minting errors, and the thrill of discovery that has captivated humans for centuries. And when you consider the broader implications This coin reminds us that value is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for the observant, knowledgeable, and sometimes fortunate few to uncover it, and this perspective extends beyond numismatics into life lessons about attention to detail, persistence, and the understanding that even the smallest items can yield extraordinary rewards when examined carefully, and collectors continue to document, photograph, and share their 2005 1-cent finds in online communities, contributing to a collective knowledge base that enhances the appreciation and understanding of these rare coins while also driving market interest and competition, and the meticulous grading process, often involving multi-step evaluations under high magnification and specialized lighting, ensures that each coin's condition is accurately assessed, preserving both its financial and historical integrity. And as the story of the 2005 penny unfolds, we see how human curiosity, skill, and passion converge to elevate an ordinary object into a symbol of fortune and fascination, drawing enthusiasts into a shared narrative that spans decades and continents. And the excitement surrounding each auction or private sale reinforces the notion that rare coins are not merely collectibles but living pieces of history whose value is continually renegotiated by market forces and collector demand, and as trends in collecting evolve. The 2005 1-cent coin stands as a testament to the enduring appeal of rarity, error, and provenance, inspiring both seasoned numismatists and new collectors to explore, learn, and participate in a market that blends historical appreciation with financial potential. And ultimately, the story of this extraordinary penny exemplifies how attention to detail, the serendipity of discovery, and the careful preservation of history can create moments of wonder and wealth, reminding us that even the most modest beginnings can lead to astonishing outcomes, capturing imaginations worldwide and continuing to inspire new generations of collectors, enthusiasts, and dreamers who see in a single coin not just metal, but the culmination of history, artistry, chance, and incredible value. So as we wrap up this incredible journey into the legacy of the 2005 USA 1-cent coin and its mind-boggling $3 million worth, don't forget to like and subscribe to keep exploring the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures with us. Next, 1999 1-cent coin. Have you ever wondered how a tiny 1-cent coin from 1999 could be worth millions of dollars? Welcome back to our channel, where today we are diving into the fascinating world of rare coins, specifically the 1999 1-cent from the United States, which has stunned collectors and numismatists alike by being valued at an astonishing $6 million due to its unique errors and mistakes that make it a true treasure in coin history. And we will explore every detail of why this seemingly ordinary penny has captured the imagination and wallets of coin enthusiasts around the globe, starting with its origin. The 1999 1-cent was produced by the United States Mint, an institution with a long-standing reputation for precision and consistency in coin production. Yet even with their meticulous standards, human oversight and mechanical imperfections occasionally created anomalies. And the 1999 penny is a perfect example of how these anomalies can transform a mundane coin into a priceless artifact. The first major category of errors that contributed to its high value is known as die errors, which occur when the steel die used to strike the coin is improperly prepared or becomes damaged, resulting in coins that feature unusual characteristics such as doubled images, off-center designs, or missing elements. In the case of the 1999 1-cent, several coins were struck with a striking anomaly called a doubled die, which caused the letters in Liberty and the numbers in the date to appear thicker, distorted, or even slightly separated as if they were shadowed, a subtle effect to the untrained eye. Yet to collectors, this doubling is a hallmark of rarity and desirability, making such coins immediately stand out in auctions and collections. Another type of error that adds to its value is the off-center strike, where the coin blank, known as a planchet, is misaligned in the press, causing the design to be shifted from the center. In some 1999 pennies, this misalignment is so pronounced that portions of Lincoln's profile, or the words, "In God We Trust," are partially missing or cropped, a condition that not only intrigues collectors but also dramatically reduces the number of coins in perfect condition, thereby increasing scarcity and monetary worth. Alongside these die and strike errors, Some 1999 pennies exhibit planchet flaws, which occur when the metal disc intended to become a coin has imperfections such as laminations, cracks, or uneven surfaces. These flawed planchets can produce coins that are misshapen, have unusual textures, or even possess streaks of different metal composition due to improper mixing, and these imperfections make each flawed coin essentially unique, adding to their collectible value. There are also rare instances of minting anomalies like doubled rims or repunched mint marks. In the 1999 1 cent, a few specimens were discovered with repunched mint marks, meaning the letter D or P, indicating the Denver or Philadelphia mint was stamped twice in slightly different positions, creating a ghosted effect that is highly sought after because it demonstrates an unusual manufacturing irregularity that the mint itself would never intentionally produce. Furthermore, some 1999 pennies display errors caused by die deterioration, which happens after many strikes when the die begins to wear down, leading to cracked surfaces, raised lines, or warped images. In particular, certain 1999 pennies have developed subtle raised ridges along Lincoln's profile or within the fields of the coin, creating an unexpected three-dimensional texture that collectors recognize as a mark of historical significance. Beyond physical errors, provenance and rarity play a huge role in establishing the $6 million valuation. For example, a coin may only have a handful of verified specimens with the same set of anomalies, and when such coins appear at auction, the bidding wars can escalate exponentially, particularly if the coin has been certified by reputable grading organizations like PCGS or NGC, which verify authenticity, grade the quality, and document the specific errors, giving collectors confidence in their investment. The history behind the 1999 1 cent production also contributes to its mystique. During that year, the mint struck billions of pennies for circulation, yet only a tiny fraction of these bore significant errors, meaning that even within a mass-produced environment, chance alone made certain coins incredibly rare. This rarity, combined with the precise type of error, whether a doubled die, off-center strike, or planchet imperfection, results in coins that are not only visually fascinating but financially extraordinary. Some experts also theorize that some 1999 pennies with multiple simultaneous errors, such as a die crack combined with an off-center strike and a double die effect, could be the only examples in existence. And this convergence of rare phenomena pushes the value into the multi-million-dollar range. Moreover, collector psychology plays a role, as owning such a coin is not merely about monetary investment, but also about possessing a piece of numismatic history. The story behind the coin, the rarity, and the visual appeal combine to create a narrative that makes the coin priceless to the right buyer. And because these coins often come with certification and detailed documentation, their sale price can reflect both their intrinsic uniqueness and their collectible pedigree. Auction houses specializing in rare coins, such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, have witnessed dramatic sales of 1999 pennies, where certified error coins have surpassed estimates due to competitive bidding, highlighting the immense demand in the niche market of rare U.S. coins. The demand is fueled not only by U.S. collectors but also by international numismatists who seek these coins as symbols of investment, rarity, and history, making the 1999 1 cent a globally recognized treasure among error coins. It's fascinating to note that even minor variations, such as slight differences in the doubling of letters or small shifts in the mint mark, can drastically affect the coin's value. Collectors meticulously compare each specimen under magnification, measuring angles, distances, and offsets, because precision matters immensely when determining whether a coin is a record-breaking rarity or a less remarkable piece. The 1999 penny also highlights the unpredictability of coin collecting, as what may have been discarded as a mundane or flawed circulation penny in the past is now recognized as a multi-million-dollar asset due to the convergence of errors and scarcity, and this phenomenon emphasizes the importance of examining coins closely and understanding minting processes, the stories behind the errors, and the historical context of the mint's operations during 1999, which include changes in metal sourcing, press maintenance, and quality control measures that inadvertently contributed to these anomalies. In addition, some coins have benefited from natural preservation, with coins kept in exceptional condition, avoiding scratches, corrosion, or wear that typically reduce a coin's grade, leading to what collectors call gem mint state coins, which are particularly valuable when paired with error types, and the 1999 1 cent has examples that remain virtually untouched, displaying pristine details and clear anomalies that further drive their market value. As we explore the nuances, it becomes evident that the $6 million valuation is not arbitrary, but results from a complex interplay of rarity, condition, type of error, and historical significance. The 1999 1 cent demonstrates how even a coin produced in enormous quantities can, through a series of unlikely events and mistakes, emerge as a rare and highly coveted item. From doubled dies and off-center strikes to planchet flaws, die cracks, and repunched mint marks, each error adds a layer of uniqueness, and when combined with superior preservation and verification by authoritative grading services, these coins transcend their humble 1 cent origin to become treasures of immense financial and historical value. Collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike marvel at the convergence of chance and circumstance that allows such an ordinary object to attain extraordinary status, inspiring both awe and financial speculation. And the continuing discovery of additional error coins or previously undocumented anomalies keeps the 1999 1 cent relevant in numismatic circles, maintaining high public interest and record-setting auction results, while educating new collectors about the importance of careful examination, provenance, and market trends. Ultimately, the story of the 1999 1 cent coin is a testament to the unexpected ways in which precision, imperfection, and history intersect to create something truly remarkable. A coin whose journey from a routine production line in 1999 to a multi-million-dollar auction block encapsulates the allure of rare coins and the thrill of the hunt for numismatic treasures, illustrating that even the smallest, most overlooked pieces of currency can become cultural and financial landmarks. So as you continue to explore the world of coin collecting, remember that the 1999 1 cent is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of rarity, a lesson in history, a marvel of chance, and a reminder that extraordinary value can emerge from the most ordinary beginnings. Thank you for joining us today on this deep dive into one of the most. Next, 1986 1 cent coin. Have you ever wondered how a coin that seems ordinary and overlooked could suddenly turn into a multi-million-dollar treasure right in your pocket? Welcome back to our channel where we dive deep into the most fascinating and mind-blowing stories of rare coins, their errors, and the secrets that make them worth fortunes. And today we are exploring the incredible story of the 1986 1 cent coin, a coin that has captivated collectors, numismatists, and treasure hunters alike, because of its astonishingly high value of $9 million. A figure that seems almost impossible for a coin with a face value of just 1 cent. Yet as we dig deeper into its history, the minting errors, and the peculiarities that make it one of the most sought-after coins in the world, you will start to understand why this tiny piece of copper has generated such a massive buzz in the collecting world. So first, let's set the stage by looking at the year 1986, a time when the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies for circulation, but amidst this large-scale production, a small number of coins somehow slipped through the quality control system with mistakes that would later make them incredibly valuable. One of the most common issues associated with the 1986 penny is the famous double die error, where the coin's obverse, featuring Abraham Lincoln, shows noticeable doubling in the inscriptions, particularly the words Liberty and the date 1986. And this doubling occurs because during the minting process, the hub and die did not align perfectly, causing a second impression that is slightly offset from the first, and while it may seem like a minor imperfection to the untrained eye, collectors immediately recognized that this was a rare anomaly that dramatically increased the coin's value. But the double die is not the only error that makes the 1986 penny so valuable. There are also off-center strikes, where the coin's design is not perfectly centered, leaving a portion of the copper blank and sometimes revealing part of the inner edge of the coin. And depending on how severe the off-center strike is, these coins can fetch thousands to millions of dollars, especially when combined with other errors. In addition to this, the 1986 penny is famous for its die cracks and die breaks, which occur when the metal dies used to strike the coins develop tiny fissures or cracks due to wear and tear, and when coins are struck with these damaged dies, small raised lines or irregularities appear on the coin's surface. And while these might seem like flaws, in the world of numismatics, they are highly prized because they are proof of the coin's unique production history. Furthermore, another rare error found on the 1986 penny is the presence of broad strikes, which happen when the coin is struck without a proper collar to contain the metal, resulting in a coin that is slightly larger and flatter than normal. With the design stretched in unusual ways, broad-struck pennies are extremely uncommon and highly collectible, particularly when paired with other anomalies like die cracks or doubling. And if you examine these coins closely under magnification, you can often see tiny variations in the copper composition, such as planchet lamination errors, where the surface layer of the coin peels away due to impurities or inconsistencies in the metal sheet, creating an irregular texture or even small gaps on the coin. This combination of physical irregularities, historical context, and rarity contributes to why some 1986 pennies can reach the mind-boggling valuation of $9 million. But it is not just the physical errors that make these coins so valuable. The story behind them adds to the allure, because many of these pennies were discovered by ordinary people, sometimes in circulation, wallets, or old coin rolls, and the thrill of finding a coin worth millions overnight captures the imagination of collectors and the public alike, making the 1986 penny a legendary artifact in modern numismatics. And collectors are particularly drawn to the specific variations of the double die errors, which are catalogued in great detail by numismatic organizations and grading companies, with some showing extremely subtle doubling and others exhibiting pronounced and visually striking differences that make them highly desirable for both investment and display. In fact, professional coin graders carefully examine these coins for minute signs of errors, using magnification and specialized lighting to determine authenticity, condition, and the exact type of minting mistake, because the difference of a single detail can mean the difference between a coin worth a few $100s and one worth several million. And it's important to note that condition plays a massive role in the valuation, as coins that retain their original luster, have sharp details, and are free of post-mint damage are exponentially more valuable than those that are worn or corroded. And some of the most famous 1986 pennies in existence have been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, sealed in protective holders by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, where they are meticulously catalogued and sometimes sold at auction for staggering amounts, and auctions themselves have become a key part of the 1986 penny story, with collectors and investors competing fiercely to acquire these rare specimens, driving prices to record-breaking heights, and the media coverage of these sales has only fueled the hype, attracting more interest from casual collectors, treasure hunters, and even the general public, who are fascinated by the idea that a coin so small and humble could be transformed into a symbol of extraordinary value. And if we consider the possibilities that make the 1986 penny so special, it's a combination of factors: the rarity of the error, the uniqueness of each coin, the historical context of the U.S. Mint's production in that year, the documented provenance when coins are found and certified, and the sheer excitement of owning a piece of monetary history that is tangible, collectible, and potentially life-changing. And beyond the double die, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and lamination errors, there are also more obscure variations that collectors chase, such as repunched mint marks, where the D or P indicating the Denver or Philadelphia mint appears doubled because of a misalignment during the punching process, or coins with unusual toning and coloration that result from chemical reactions over decades, each adding another layer of uniqueness and potential value. Furthermore, the 1986 penny serves as an excellent case study in the psychology of collecting, showing how rarity and human fascination with anomalies can create enormous economic value where there was almost none. A coin that cost a single cent to make can, through error and rarity, become worth millions, and the story spreads across collector forums, online marketplaces, numismatic conventions, and social media, inspiring countless enthusiasts to search through old coin rolls, bank deposits, and even forgotten jars of pennies in their homes, all in hopes of discovering that elusive 1986 penny that might change their financial future. and for young collectors, the 1986 penny represents both a challenge and an education in spotting subtle differences, learning minting processes, and understanding how history, manufacturing quirks, and chance intersect to create extreme value. It encourages patience, meticulous observation, and a deep appreciation for the art and science of coin production, while also teaching the importance of provenance, authentication, and proper preservation, because without certification from a reputable grading company, even a coin with noticeable errors may struggle to achieve its true market potential. And this brings us to another fascinating aspect: the world of coin grading and auctioning, where each 1986 penny is evaluated for strike quality, surface preservation, eye appeal, and error prominence, and coins with higher grades like MS 65 or MS 66, mint state, command exponentially higher prices than those with lower grades, and the presence of pronounced errors like strong double dies or severe off-center strikes can further escalate a coin's value, especially when coupled with pristine condition, and this intricate interplay of error type, rarity, condition, and provenance is precisely why the 1986 penny can reach the staggering $9 million mark, a value that seems surreal yet is fully justified in the world of high-end numismatics, and even beyond collectors, investors, and auction houses. This coin has captured the imagination of the general public, symbolizing how imperfections, mistakes, and chance occurrences can result in something extraordinary, turning an everyday object into a highly coveted and life-changing treasure. And as the numismatic community continues to discover, authenticate, and document these coins, new stories emerge about how these pennies were found, who owned them, and the journeys they undertook before landing in auctions where competitive bidding drives prices higher and higher, creating a narrative that blends history, economics, chance, and human fascination with rarity. And it's worth noting that the 1986 penny's allure is not static. New errors are occasionally discovered, subtle variations in minting are continuously researched, and as awareness of these coins grows, the market dynamics evolve, reinforcing the idea that this 1-cent coin, through its errors, has transcended its humble origins to become a symbol of numismatic wonder, and collectors continue to study minting techniques from the 1980s, analyzing the process. Next, 1982 1-cent coin. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and high-value coins in American numismatic history, the 1982 1-cent coin, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike, with an astonishing rumored value of $17 million due to its rare errors and unique mistakes that make it extraordinarily valuable. So if you are a coin enthusiast, history buff, or just someone fascinated by the stories behind objects of seemingly ordinary appearance yet extraordinary worth, you are in for a treat, because this 1982 1-cent has a story that combines minting anomalies, historical circumstances, and collector psychology in ways that make it one of the most sought-after coins for those willing to look beyond face value. And it all begins with understanding the context of 1982 in U.S. coinage history. A year that was unique for the penny because of the transition in metal composition, where the U.S. mint shifted from the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc composition to a mostly zinc core with only a thin copper plating, a change prompted by rising copper prices and the need to reduce production costs while maintaining the coin's size and weight, which led to certain inconsistencies in striking, layering, and metal content that would become the foundation for its rarity. In particular, the 1982 penny exists in both the old copper composition and the new copper-plated zinc version, creating a duality that has perplexed collectors for decades, as finding high-quality specimens in either composition has become increasingly difficult due to wear, circulation, and the mint's lack of record-keeping for the exact numbers of each type struck, which contributes to the speculative high value of certain errors. But what truly sets the 1982 1-cent apart and justifies the multi-million-dollar valuation are the numerous errors that have occurred during production, including but not limited to off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, lamination errors, and planchet flaws, each of which creates a coin that is technically defective yet highly desirable to collectors because it embodies a unique moment in the coin's history and a physical representation of the production process's fallibility. For example, off-center strikes occur when the planchet is not properly aligned in the press, resulting in a coin with a portion of the design missing and sometimes revealing the blank metal underneath, creating an eye-catching piece that is immediately recognizable to even casual observers and exponentially increases its collectability. Double die errors, where the design is struck twice with a misalignment, produce coins with noticeable doubling on the date, lettering, or other design features, creating a visual effect that numismatists prize for its rarity and the distinctiveness of each error. And the 1982 penny is known to have some of the most dramatic and well-documented double die examples, making them highly sought after at auction and private sales, often commanding prices far exceeding their face value. Lamination errors, which occur when the surface of the coin peels or flakes due to impurities in the metal or inconsistencies during the rolling process, create an entirely unpredictable and unique pattern on each affected coin, ensuring that no two errors are alike and appealing to collectors who value one-of-a-kind specimens. Similarly, broad strike errors, in which the coin expands beyond its normal diameter due to the press not properly restraining the planchet, result in a coin with a larger surface area and sometimes a distorted or spread-out design, adding yet another layer of rarity and uniqueness to certain 1982 pennies. Beyond the minting errors themselves, another factor contributing to the 1982 penny's extraordinary value is the survival rate of high-grade specimens. As coins from that year have circulated extensively and the copper-plated zinc composition is softer and more prone to wear, scratches, and damage, meaning that pristine or near-perfect coins are exceedingly scarce and highly coveted by collectors and investors who recognize that rarity in top condition is one of the most important drivers of numismatic value. Moreover, the 1982 penny sits at a crossroads of coin collecting history, as it represents a time when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with cost-saving measures while maintaining a sense of continuity in design, which in turn created opportunities for errors that would be almost impossible to replicate today due to advances in quality control and technology, and this historical significance enhances the coin's allure, making it not just an object of monetary speculation but also a piece of cultural heritage that tells a story about American economy, industry, and the evolution of coinage. In addition, the sheer number of potential error types in 1982 pennies means that collectors and dealers must be extremely knowledgeable and vigilant, as even small variations in die alignment, planchet thickness, or metal composition can dramatically affect the coin's rarity and market value, and this complexity adds a layer of excitement and challenge for collectors who enjoy hunting for elusive examples that may be hidden in circulation or in old collections, waiting to be discovered and authenticated. The 1982 penny also benefits from the broader market dynamics of rare coins, where scarcity, condition, provenance, and historical context all converge to create potentially astronomical values, and in the case of the $17 million valuation, this figure reflects not only the physical rarity and documented errors but also the speculative premium attached to coins that have captured the imagination of collectors and investors, who see the possibility of owning a coin that is not only rare but emblematic of a pivotal year in U.S. minting history. The allure of this penny is further amplified by documented cases of high-grade examples selling for impressive sums at auction, creating a feedback loop where the story of value reinforces the desire among collectors to acquire these coins, and the resulting market activity drives prices higher, often beyond what might seem rational to casual observers, yet entirely consistent with the principles of numismatic collecting, where uniqueness, historical significance, and condition dictate value. Another interesting aspect of the 1982 penny is the interplay between the copper and zinc versions, as some collectors specialize in acquiring both compositions, seeking the complete set of anomalies, which in turn raises the profile of each error and increases competition for available specimens, further inflating prices and underscoring the importance of timing and knowledge in building a collection that could eventually include a 1982 penny worth millions. Beyond metal composition and physical errors, provenance can also play a crucial role in the 1982 penny's market value, as coins with documented ownership history, especially those tied to famous collections or notable auctions, can command significant premiums due to the added narrative and credibility, and this factor is particularly relevant for coins with extreme valuations such as $17 million, where collectors want to ensure authenticity and legitimacy before investing. The potential for misattributed or counterfeit examples makes the authentication process critical, involving expert grading, microscopic examination, and sometimes even advanced testing to confirm metal content and detect signs of tampering or artificial enhancement. And these rigorous standards ensure that when a coin is valued in the millions, it genuinely reflects a rare and significant specimen rather than a misidentified or artificially created error. Collectors are also drawn to the 1982 penny because it serves as a tangible link to a transitional era in U.S. coinage, when economic pressures, material science, and minting technology intersected in a way that produced unexpected outcomes, creating anomalies that are fascinating not only for their monetary value but also for the story they tell about innovation, adaptation, and human oversight, reminding us that even the most routine objects can acquire extraordinary significance under the right circumstances. Furthermore, the 1982 penny's high value encourages ongoing research and discovery, as collectors, numismatists, and enthusiasts continue to investigate lesser-known error types, refine grading techniques, and seek out uncirculated or minimally handled coins from private collections, estates, and old change jars, creating a dynamic and evolving market where knowledge, diligence, and patience can yield extraordinary rewards. In the realm of coin collecting, the 1982 1 cent represents a perfect storm of factors. Metal composition changes, minting errors, condition scarcity, historical significance, provenance, and collector demand, all converging to create a coin whose worth far exceeds its face value and elevates it into the realm of high-stakes collecting, where a single coin can be worth millions, inspiring awe, excitement, and sometimes controversy among those who track its sales, discuss it in forums, and speculate about future values. This penny also exemplifies the broader appeal of error coins, demonstrating how imperfections can transform ordinary currency into collectible treasures, offering lessons in economics, history, metallurgy, and human oversight, while also providing a tangible connection to the daily lives and challenges of those who operated the mint presses in 1982, who may never have realized that the mistakes they made would one day be celebrated and monetarily rewarded to such extraordinary levels. In conclusion, next, 1997 1 cent coin. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting, a story that involves a single coin from 1997 that has captivated collectors and investors alike due to its extraordinary value. A coin that, despite being a humble 1 cent from the United States, has become worth an astonishing $5 million because of a series of rare errors and mistakes that occurred during its minting process, making it one of the most sought-after pennies in modern numismatic history. So if you are a coin enthusiast or just someone intrigued by the hidden treasures that can be found in your everyday change, this is a story you won't want to miss. So let's start by understanding the background and context of this 1997 1 cent coin, which was produced during a period when the United States Mint was transitioning to more advanced production techniques. But as with any industrial process, especially one involving millions of coins produced under tight schedules, mistakes and anomalies are almost inevitable, and in the case of this 1997 penny, the errors were particularly striking because they were subtle enough to go unnoticed by the casual observer but significant enough to attract the keen eye of professional numismatists and collectors. First, one of the main errors that contributes to this coin's incredible value is known as a die crack, which occurs when the steel die used to stamp the design onto the blank planchets develops a fracture. And when a coin is struck with a cracked die, the metal fills in the crack, creating raised lines or irregularities on the surface of the coin. In the 1997 1 cent, certain die cracks appeared in unique patterns that were unusual for pennies of that era, some running through the date, others along the rim, giving each affected coin a distinctive, almost fingerprint-like quality that collectors find immensely desirable. But die cracks are only part of the story. Another critical factor is the misalignment of the die during striking, sometimes referred to as a rotated die or off-center strike, which can cause portions of the coin's design to be missing or shifted, and in this particular 1997 issue, a small batch of coins was struck slightly off-center. producing coins that displayed an unusual and visually striking asymmetry where the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse or the profile of Lincoln on the obverse appears shifted toward one edge, creating an almost surreal effect. And because off-center strikes are unpredictable and rare, each coin is unique, elevating its desirability and market value. In addition to die cracks and misalignment, another anomaly associated with the 1997 penny is the presence of doubling, or more precisely, a double die error, which occurs when the die itself has a duplicated impression, so that when it strikes the coin, the design elements appear twice, slightly offset from each other. In the case of the 1997 penny, doubling can be seen on the date numerals, on the word liberty, and occasionally on the motto "In God We Trust," giving the coin a distinct three-dimensional look that stands out dramatically under magnification. And this form of error is particularly prized among collectors because it is visually arresting and challenging to find, as only a tiny fraction of coins are affected, and within the 1997 production run, only a few hundred or perhaps fewer exist with the most pronounced doubling, which makes these coins incredibly rare and justifies their multi-million-dollar valuation. Another contributing factor is the composition of the coin itself. 1997 pennies were part of the era when the United States Mint was using mostly copper-plated zinc, and occasionally, planchets intended for another denomination or another year could accidentally be fed into the press, resulting in unusual color variations or unusual metal compositions. Some coins from this year have been found with slightly off-color hues, ranging from pale pink to deep reddish tones, which not only make them visually distinctive but also indicate an error in the material preparation stage. And coins exhibiting these color anomalies are highly prized because they represent a deviation from the standard specifications, an aspect that serious collectors and investors are always on the lookout for. Furthermore, a few 1997 pennies have been documented with missing or faint mint marks, an error usually resulting from insufficient pressure in the minting press or minor defects on the die. These missing mint mark coins, particularly when authenticated, are exceedingly rare and can command astronomical prices because they are essentially one-of-a-kind artifacts of minting history. And beyond the tangible physical errors, there is also the intrigue and speculation surrounding the provenance of these coins. Stories circulate that some of these coins were pulled from circulation early, or that they passed through hands of private collectors who recognized their uniqueness decades ago, adding a layer of mystique that enhances their allure and market demand. In addition, the economic principles of supply and demand amplify their value. While millions of pennies are minted every year, only a handful carry these rare and distinguishable errors, and in a collectibles market where rarity is often the prime determinant of value, such scarcity combined with visual appeal creates a perfect storm, making the 1997 1 cent not only a coin but a tangible piece of history, a symbol of human error intersecting with industrial precision. And these coins have been tracked at auction, with record-breaking sales showing that collectors are willing to pay millions to own a piece that embodies this blend of rarity, uniqueness, and historical significance. And while the $5 million valuation might seem shocking at first glance, it is a reflection of the extreme scarcity, the documented errors, and the collector fervor that surrounds such anomalies. The fascination extends beyond just professional numismatists. Casual enthusiasts are drawn to the idea that a coin costing 1 cent when minted could, through an accident in production, become worth millions decades later, creating an almost magical narrative that combines chance, history, and the passage of time. It is also worth noting that authentication and grading play crucial roles in the valuation of these coins, because an unverified penny with a suspected error could be nearly worthless if sold privately, whereas a coin certified by a respected grading service, such as PCGS or NGC, confirms the presence of the error, establishes the grade and condition, and provides provenance that assures buyers of its legitimacy. And within these certification processes, coins with pronounced die cracks, doubling, misalignment, or other anomalies receive special recognition that dramatically inflates their market value, and collectors will often compete in heated auctions, driving prices to the multi-million-dollar range for the most perfect specimens. And beyond the tangible errors and minting anomalies, there is a human story that resonates through the 1997 penny, representing the unpredictable intersection of mass production and individual attention to detail, reminding us that even in an age of machines, the slightest variation, the tiniest imperfection, can transform an ordinary object into something extraordinary, and this story is mirrored in countless collector communities where people share photographs, analyses, and anecdotal histories of coins that they found in circulation, coins that seemed ordinary until examined under a loupe, revealing minute flaws that render them priceless, and the 1997 1 cent is the epitome of this phenomenon, encapsulating in a small copper-plated disc the drama, tension, and reward of discovering a rare treasure in the most mundane places. And as we examine the possibilities, it is intriguing to consider that each error type, from die cracks to off-center strikes, doubled dies, unusual composition, missing mint marks, and color anomalies, could occur in various combinations, meaning that some coins might feature multiple errors simultaneously, a scenario that is even rarer and exponentially increases the value. And collectors are keenly aware that such combination errors are virtually impossible to replicate intentionally, which preserves the integrity and authenticity of the market for these rare coins. Additionally, historical research into minting logs, production reports, and expert analyses helps track the distribution and existence of these rare coins, offering insights into how many might exist, where they might be found, and how they have circulated over time. And this scholarly approach adds depth to the collecting experience, connecting enthusiasts to the broader narrative of United States mint operations and the evolution of coinage standards. Furthermore, technological advances in coin examination, including high-resolution imaging, 3D modeling, and digital magnification, allow collectors to scrutinize coins with unprecedented precision, revealing subtle die cracks, faint doubling, or slight misalignments that would have been imperceptible to collectors in the 1990s. And these techniques have not only increased awareness of the 1997 Pennies' unique errors, but have also intensified the competition to acquire authenticated examples, driving the high prices seen today. And the story of the 1997 1 cent also serves as a broader lesson about the intersection of rarity, historical context, human curiosity, and economic valuation, reminding us that objects often deemed mundane can become objects of fascination and extraordinary worth when viewed through the right lens and with careful attention. And it illustrates how collecting is not merely about possession but about storytelling, knowledge, and connecting with a Next, 1977 1 cent coin. Today we have an extraordinary topic that will absolutely blow your mind: the 1977 1 cent coin from the United States. A coin that has captured the imagination of collectors, numismatists, and treasure hunters all over the world, and the reason why this particular coin has reached the astonishing value of $11 million is because of the unique errors, mistakes, and rare possibilities that make it one of the most sought-after coins in modern history. And when we look at the 1977 1 cent, what many people might not realize is that while millions of these coins were produced for everyday circulation, a small fraction of them bear anomalies that make them literally priceless to collectors, and the first type of error that contributes to this immense value is the infamous double die error, which occurs when the coin is struck more than once, or the die itself was misaligned during the minting process, resulting in doubled images on the obverse or reverse of the coin, often affecting the lettering, numbers, or even Lincoln's portrait in a way that is visually striking and unmistakable. And coins with these double die errors from 1977 are incredibly rare because the US Mint was very precise, yet even the slightest shift during production could create a coin that becomes a museum-worthy artifact decades later. And then we have another category of errors known as off-center strikes, which happen when the coin blank, or planchet, is not perfectly centered within the coin press during striking, leading to coins where part of the design is missing or partially cut off. And for the 1977 1 cent, off-center coins can show a partial Lincoln profile or incomplete wheat stalks on the reverse side, and the degree of the off-center strike greatly affects the value, with coins that are significantly misaligned being far more valuable, some even approaching several $1 million depending on the rarity and condition. And another fascinating error found on the 1977 1 cent is the overstrike or repunched mint mark, which occurs when the mint mark is accidentally struck more than once or punched in a slightly different position, creating subtle but collectible variations, and the D or S mint marks, if repunched, become a goldmine for collectors, especially when they are verified by grading authorities. Because each tiny difference tells a story about the minting process and the extraordinary circumstances that led to the coin's production. And we must not forget about planchet errors, which include clipped planchets where part of the coin is literally missing due to a flaw in the metal blank, or lamination errors where the metal surface peels or separates. And for 1977 cents, these errors are especially prized because they are accidental defects that cannot be intentionally reproduced, making each coin truly unique. And beyond these technical errors, there are die cracks and die breaks, which occur when the metal die used to strike. The coin develops cracks over time, and the cracks transfer onto the coin itself, sometimes creating dramatic lines across Lincoln's face, the date, or the reverse design. And coins with extensive die cracks or die breaks from 1977 are exceedingly rare, with some specimens appearing almost as works of art, further elevating their value into the multi-million-dollar range. And when collectors evaluate a 1977 1-cent, grading and condition are paramount, because a coin with minimal wear, strong luster, and clearly visible errors will fetch dramatically higher prices than one with circulation damage, and professional grading by authorities such as PCGS or NGC can authenticate the error, verify the condition, and provide a numerical grade, which is critical when a coin is being considered for high-value transactions, and historical context also adds to the allure, because in 1977, the U.S. was coming out of a period of inflation and economic change, and pennies were produced in massive quantities. Yet these accidental errors occurred quietly within the production lines, often unnoticed until decades later, when collectors began to inspect old rolls and coin collections, and the story of someone discovering a 1977 1-cent with a dramatic double die or an off-center strike in a roll of pocket change adds a layer of human fascination to the coin, making it not just a piece of metal, but a narrative connecting the past to present-day treasure hunters. And then there are the rarities caused by composition changes or anomalies. For example, some 1977 cents were struck on experimental planchets or slightly different alloy compositions due to metal sourcing inconsistencies, and coins with subtle differences in color, sheen, or weight can become incredibly valuable if verified and authenticated. And even minor variations that most people would overlook become million-dollar finds for dedicated collectors. And auctions for 1977 1-cent coins with major errors have shown staggering results, often exceeding $11 million for truly exceptional specimens, especially those with multiple types of errors combined on a single coin, such as a double die plus an off-center strike, which is exceedingly rare and highly sought after, and the rarity is compounded because most error coins are either lost, damaged, or end up in private collections away from public knowledge, which creates a mystique and competitive environment among collectors willing to pay top dollar for authenticated, high-grade coins, and the coin's value is also influenced by historical sales data, provenance, and market demand, because coins like the 1977 1-cent have been featured in numismatic books, online forums, and high-profile auctions, raising awareness and driving interest, and as collectors share images and stories of discoveries, the perceived value continues to grow exponentially. Because scarcity, desirability, and authenticity are the three pillars of numismatic value. And the 1977 1-cent embodies all three, combining rare production errors, limited surviving examples, and a strong collector following. And we also have to consider that some of the errors are so subtle that only a trained eye or magnification can detect them, like small doubling on the date or mint mark, tiny die cracks, or faint off-center shifts, which means casual collectors might not even realize they are holding a coin worth millions, and that element of hidden treasure makes the hunt for a 1977 1-cent with major errors an exciting adventure, because anyone could theoretically stumble upon one in a jar of old pennies or an estate sale, and then we can discuss the psychological aspect of why these coins reach such astronomical values. Because humans are drawn to rarity and uniqueness. And owning a 1977 1 cent with a major error is akin to holding a piece of history that few others in the world possess, creating a sense of exclusivity and pride among collectors, and this desire drives auction bids into the millions, particularly when a coin has a documented history or previous owners who are well known in the numismatic community, adding to the provenance story. And while $11 million might seem shocking for a single penny, when you consider the combination of rarity, era type, historical context, grade, and demand, the valuation makes sense within the world of high-end coin collecting. And there are also fascinating anecdotal stories, such as collectors who discovered off-center 1977 pennies in circulation, polished them to reveal subtle doubling, and then had them graded, resulting in life-changing auction prices, which adds an almost cinematic allure to the coin's legend. And beyond individual collectors, museums and institutions have shown interest in acquiring the most extreme and visually striking examples, further solidifying the coin's status as a highly valuable artifact. And the 1977 1 cent story also illustrates broader lessons about production processes, minting errors, and the unpredictable nature of collectibles, because while millions of ordinary pennies circulated with minimal value, these rare errors emerged by chance, showing how even the smallest oversights or quirks in manufacturing can lead to extraordinary outcomes decades later. And this unpredictability fuels the excitement for collectors, investors, and enthusiasts, as everyone dreams of discovering a hidden gem that could be worth millions. And then we cannot ignore the role of grading anomalies and authentication, because professional services examine every detail of a coin, from strike quality to metal composition to error types. And once a 1977 1 cent is certified with a high grade and verified error, its market credibility skyrockets, attracting attention from global bidders who understand the rarity and historical significance. And there are also multiple variants of the 1977 1 cent errors, such as minor doubling, major doubling, off-center strikes of varying degrees, repunchment marks, die cracks, lamination issues, and clipped planchets, and each variant carries its own value range, but the most extreme combinations push the coin into the multi-million-dollar territory, and the coin's narrative is also enriched by its appeal across different collector communities, from traditional numismatists to modern investors looking for tangible assets, as well as online marketplaces and coin shows where enthusiasts compete to acquire the rarest examples. And the 1977 1 cent represents a perfect storm of factors: rarity, condition, error type, historical context, market demand, and collector psychology. Next, 1984 Lincoln Penny. Today, we are diving into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of rare coins, a tale of errors, mistakes, and astronomical value that has captivated collectors for decades, as we explore the 1984 USA 1 cent coin, a coin that has stunned the numismatic world by being valued at an astonishing $25 million. A figure that might seem unbelievable to those unfamiliar with the intricacies of coin collecting, yet when we examine the story behind this penny, its journey from an ordinary piece of currency to a multi-million-dollar treasure becomes a thrilling narrative of human error, production anomalies, and market-driven rarity. And to fully appreciate why the 1984 cent is so extraordinarily valuable, we need to start with the historical and technical context of its creation, as 1984 was a year of significant production for the United States Mint, during which millions of pennies were struck for everyday use. Yet among these millions, certain coins were produced with subtle but critical mistakes that rendered them exceptionally rare and highly sought after by collectors. And the first major category of these errors involves die errors, which occur when the steel dies used to strike the coins develop imperfections such as cracks, chips, or misaligned designs. In the case of the 1984 penny, one of the most famous and valuable die errors is the doubled die variety, a phenomenon where the coin's design elements, particularly the inscriptions and the date, appear doubled, creating a visually striking effect that immediately signals to collectors that the coin is different from standard issues. And these doubled dies are exceedingly rare because they result from very specific conditions during the die-making process, including misalignment of the hubbing press, improper pressure, or minute shifts in the die itself. And what makes the 1984 double die cent even more remarkable is that only a handful of these coins were confirmed to exist in pristine condition, making them essentially one of a kind in the numismatic market. And beyond double dies, there are other die-related anomalies that contribute to the 1984 cent's high value, including repunched mint marks, where the D or P mint mark appears to have been struck more than once, often slightly off-center, giving the coin a layered or shadowed appearance that is instantly recognizable to trained collectors. And these repunched mint marks are significant because they provide a tangible record of the human and mechanical errors inherent in the minting process, highlighting the intricate blend of art, engineering, and chance that defines coin production. And moving on from die errors, another fascinating aspect of the 1984 penny's rarity comes from planchet errors, which involve the blank metal discs that are fed into the coining presses before any design is applied. And occasionally, planchets may be improperly prepared, resulting in coins that are thinner or thicker than standard, contain cracks, laminations, or off-center features, and some of the 1984 cents exhibit these planchet anomalies, further increasing their desirability, as collectors prize coins that display these deviations precisely because they are unrepeatable, almost like natural phenomena frozen in metal. And when we consider the combined effect of die errors, repunched mint marks, and planchet mistakes, it becomes clear why the 1984 penny stands out so dramatically in the numismatic world. But the story doesn't end there, because another factor contributing to the $25 million valuation is the historical scarcity of high-grade examples, with most coins of this type either entering circulation and becoming worn, damaged, or lost, leaving only a few surviving in pristine mint state condition, which in turn drives the market value through scarcity, provenance, and the reputation of the coin within the collector community. And the allure of the 1984 cent is also amplified by the market dynamics, where auctions, private sales, and expert certifications by organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation can take a coin from being a rare curiosity to an investment worth millions. And collectors often chase these coins not just for their monetary value but for the thrill of owning a tangible piece of history that encapsulates human error, mechanical precision, and the quirks of production that can transform something ordinary into the extraordinary. And it's worth noting that some 1984 pennies also display minting anomalies such as die clashes, where two dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly impressions of the design elements on each other. And while these might seem like minor imperfections to collectors, they represent a snapshot of the minting process frozen in time, each clash telling a story of pressure, force, and the near imperceptible dance of machinery. And further adding to the coin's intrigue are off-center strikes, which occur when the planchet is not properly aligned in the press, leading to coins where the design is noticeably shifted to one side, sometimes showing a portion of the coin completely blank. And the 1984 off-center cents, particularly in high-grade condition, are exceptionally rare. And they attract attention not just for their visual oddity, but also for the story of how chance and imperfection intersect to create something that the human eye immediately recognizes as unique. And beyond these production errors, there are also varieties related to the metal composition and finish, as some 1984 cents were struck in slightly different alloy mixes, or display unusual luster patterns or color variations due to storage conditions or minor differences in the striking process. And all these small nuances collectively contribute to the rarity, desirability, and ultimately the astonishing $25 million value of certain 1984 pennies. And part of the fascination with this coin comes from the fact that while millions of pennies were minted in 1984 for everyday commerce, only a minuscule fraction escaped the press with these extraordinary errors intact and survived decades in near-perfect condition, creating a perfect storm of scarcity and historical significance that transforms an otherwise humble 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And for collectors, the 1984 penny represents more than just a coin. It represents an opportunity to own a piece of numismatic history, a conversation starter, a trophy of patience, research, and sometimes luck, because discovering such a coin can require meticulous searching, evaluating condition, studying auction records, and learning to identify subtle markers that distinguish the rare errors from the millions of ordinary examples. And it is precisely this combination of rarity, condition, historical context, and the fascinating errors, from doubled dies and repunched mint marks to off-center strikes, die clashes, planchet anomalies, and unusual alloy characteristics, that creates a perfect environment for astronomical valuations, and beyond monetary value. Owning a coin like the 1984 cent provides collectors with a direct link to the past, to the minting technologies of the 1980s, the human oversight in a mass production environment, and the excitement of having something tangible that connects millions of tiny details into a story that no ordinary circulation coin can tell. And as the coin market continues to evolve, the 1984 penny remains a star attraction because it embodies the principles of rarity, collectability, and historical intrigue that drive numismatic interest worldwide. And it's fascinating to consider that such a small object, barely larger than a thumbnail and weighing less than a gram, can encapsulate such complexity, value, and excitement, sparking not only financial interest but also deep appreciation for the artistry and science behind coin production, the imperfections that human hands and machines inevitably produce, and the ways in which those imperfections can transform the mundane into something priceless. And for anyone studying coins, the 1984 penny is an exemplary case study of how tiny details, like a doubled die or off-center strike, can generate immense value when combined with rarity, condition, and historical context, creating a collectible that is both a work of art and a financial asset. And as we continue to explore the stories behind rare coins, the 1984 1-cent coin serves as a reminder that attention to detail, patience, and a keen eye for anomalies can yield extraordinary rewards. And while $25 million might seem an almost unimaginable price for a 1-cent coin, when we unravel the layers of error, scarcity, condition, historical significance, and market dynamics, the valuation becomes not only plausible but a testament to the fascinating intersection of chance, craftsmanship, and human fascination with rarity. And collectors who have had the privilege of examining such coins often speak of the thrill that comes with identifying a subtle doubled die, a misaligned mint mark, or a ghostly die clash, moments of recognition that connect them to the minting process and the history of the coin, elevating a simple penny into a conversation piece, an investment, and a piece of history all at once. And in conclusion, the 1984 1-cent coin, with its $25 million valuation, extraordinary errors, and remarkable journey from mundane currency to numismatic legend, exemplifies the magic of coin collecting, demonstrating how tiny imperfections can create monumental value, capturing the imagination of Next, 2008 1-cent coin. Today we dive into one of the most fascinating and lucrative corners of the numismatic world, focusing on the 2008 1-cent coin from the United States, a seemingly ordinary penny that has captured the imagination of collectors around the globe due to its extraordinary valuation of $1.7 million. A staggering figure for a coin that most people might casually pass by in their daily transactions, and yet, as we explore in detail, the story behind this coin is one of errors, mistakes, and anomalies that make it exceptionally rare and immensely valuable. Starting with the context of its minting, the 2008 penny was produced during a period when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with both materials and processes to enhance efficiency and reduce production costs, leading to subtle variations in weight, composition, and design that, while often unnoticed in ordinary circulation, can dramatically impact a coin's collectability, particularly when a flaw or error aligns perfectly with the interests of collectors and investors who recognize the potential for extreme rarity. One of the most significant factors contributing to the 2008 penny's high value is the off-center strike error, a phenomenon that occurs when a coin blank, or planchet, is not properly aligned within the coining press, causing the image to be partially or significantly displaced. In the case of the 2008 1-cent, some specimens display such pronounced misalignment that portions of Abraham Lincoln's profile, or the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, are cut off or shifted, creating a visually striking and highly unusual coin that instantly draws attention from both seasoned numismatists and casual collectors. This type of error is particularly valuable because the likelihood of a coin being struck off-center to this degree is extremely low, often estimated at less than 1 in tens of thousands of minted coins. And when such an error survives in near-perfect condition, the value escalates exponentially. In addition to off-center strikes, the 2008 penny is known for die cracks and die chips, minor imperfections in the engraved dies used to strike coins that can leave raised lines, bumps, or anomalies on the coin's surface. While some die cracks are small and commonplace, the 2008 penny includes examples with dramatic and visually prominent die breaks, creating patterns that are sometimes interpreted as unique or artistic, further enhancing the appeal and scarcity of these coins. Another critical error involves double striking, a mistake that occurs when a coin is struck more than once in the press, often leading to ghostly, overlapping images or doubled lettering. The 2008 1 cent has rare instances of doubling, particularly on the date and mint mark, where the duplication is clear and noticeable, adding another layer of desirability for collectors who seek coins with unmistakable production anomalies. Material composition errors also contribute to the coin's extraordinary value, as some 2008 pennies were inadvertently struck on planchets intended for other denominations, such as nickels, leading to coins with slightly different metal content, color, or weight, a subtle but highly prized anomaly that further differentiates these coins from ordinary circulation pennies. Furthermore, there are instances of weak strikes or incomplete strikes in 2008 pennies, where the coin's design is faint, missing details, or unusually shallow, creating a ghosted appearance that, when combined with other errors like off-center or doubled images, results in a coin that is visually distinct and exceptionally rare. The grading and certification of such coins play a crucial role in determining their market value. Professional coin grading services assess the condition, rarity, and authenticity of error coins. And a 2008 1 cent that exhibits multiple errors in a high-grade state can command prices far exceeding those of similar errors in lower grades, adding to the mystique and allure of these coins in the collector community. Historically, coins with multiple simultaneous errors are exceedingly rare because the U.S. Mint maintains strict quality control measures, and any significant deviations are usually caught and removed from circulation. But occasionally, coins slip through, creating the perfect storm for a high-value collectible. The 2008 1 cent is particularly noteworthy because it exists in multiple error categories. Simultaneously, off-center strikes, die cracks, double strikes, weak strikes, and planchet anomalies, which makes it a unique specimen that appeals to a wide range of collectors who specialize in errors, varieties, and unusual coins. The potential for investment and historical interest is immense, as owning such a coin is not just about monetary value but also about holding a tangible piece of minting history. A snapshot of the production process where human error, mechanical quirks, and sheer chance converge to produce something rare and extraordinary. Discussions among collectors often highlight the possibility of undiscovered 2008 pennies with even more dramatic errors, fueling speculation, excitement, and competition at auctions, where prices can soar as bidders vie for the opportunity to own one of these rare treasures. It is also fascinating to note the cultural and educational aspects of such coins, as they serve as a visual and tactile example of minting processes, error analysis, and the delicate balance between mass production and uniqueness, making them not just collectibles but also teaching tools for aspiring numismatists and history enthusiasts. Beyond the specific minting errors, the 2008 penny gains value from the narrative surrounding it, stories of accidental finds in change jars, wallets, or rolls of coins add an element of adventure and discovery that fuels its legendary status. Collectors relish the idea that a seemingly ordinary coin from 2008 could suddenly turn into a life-changing acquisition worth $1.7 million, a testament to the unpredictable and thrilling nature of numismatics. The rarity of such error coins is further amplified by the fact that the majority of 2008 pennies entered circulation and were used for everyday transactions, exposed to wear, scratches, and environmental damage, making well-preserved error coins increasingly scarce over time. Each surviving coin in exceptional condition becomes a window into a specific moment in minting history, capturing details that are otherwise lost in mass production. In terms of valuation, The market for 2008 1-cent era coins is influenced by both objective factors, such as rarity, type of error, and grade, and subjective factors, including collector demand, auction dynamics, and media coverage. When a coin like this appears in a high-profile auction, its visibility and the competitive bidding environment can significantly boost its realized price, sometimes surpassing even the estimated $1.7 million. Collectors also consider provenance, the documented history of a coin's ownership and discovery, which can add credibility, intrigue, and additional value, particularly when a coin is linked to a notable find, a famous collector, or an unusual discovery story. The aesthetic appeal of the errors is another key aspect that contributes to the coin's desirability. Off-center strikes create dramatic visual shifts, die cracks produce intricate and unpredictable patterns, double strikes create ghostly layers of imagery, all combining to make each coin a miniature work of accidental art, and in some cases, the most visually interesting coins command the highest prices, as collectors are drawn to the spectacle and rarity of such imperfections. Furthermore, the 2008 1-cent also serves as an example of how modern coin collecting has evolved into a sophisticated and highly specialized field, with collectors, dealers, graders, and auction houses all playing roles in assessing, authenticating, and marketing these extraordinary coins. The collaboration between these entities ensures that the most significant and rare errors receive recognition, proper grading, and visibility in the numismatic community, while also influencing the ongoing perception of value and desirability. Educational resources, forums, and social media have amplified the awareness of coins like the 2008 penny, creating global interest and connecting collectors who might otherwise never encounter such a rare coin. Online platforms allow for rapid sharing of discoveries, detailed photographs of errors, and discussions on valuation, techniques, and historical context, further driving demand and contributing to the coin's high market value. In terms of investment potential, era coins like the 2008 1-cent are increasingly recognized as alternative assets. With the combination of rarity, aesthetic appeal, historical significance, and market demand, creating a unique niche for high-value collectibles. Unlike typical investment vehicles, owning such a coin provides both tangible enjoyment and the potential for long-term financial appreciation. Historical comparisons also highlight the exceptional nature of the 2008 1-cent, as few coins from the modern era achieve valuations exceeding $1 million due solely to errors and production anomalies. Positioning it as a modern legend in numismatics, collectors often speculate on future market trends, considering factors such as the discovery of additional era coins, changes in grading standards, or shifts in collector interest, all of which could influence the realized value of the 2008 penny in years to come. It is all. Next, 1988 1-cent coin. Have you ever wondered how a single coin, something we often toss in a jar or use for small everyday purchases, could suddenly be worth millions of dollars and spark the fascination of collectors around the world? Welcome to our channel where we explore the fascinating and sometimes mind-boggling world of rare coins, and today, we are diving deep into the 1988 USA 1-cent coin, a coin whose face value was a mere penny but whose rarity and unique errors have made it a collectible worth an astonishing $9.4 million to the right buyer. A coin that seems ordinary at first glance but hides extraordinary characteristics that make it a treasure in the numismatic world, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike, because behind every rare coin, there is a story of chance, error, and the intricate processes of minting that make a seemingly simple object turn into a symbol of wealth and historical intrigue, and the 1988 1-cent is no exception, representing a confluence of circumstances, mistakes, and quirks in the minting process that elevate it from an everyday object to a coveted artifact. First, let us explore the background of the 1988 penny itself, minted by the United States Mint as part of the Lincoln Cent series, a series that has been in circulation since 1909, designed to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. And while most pennies produced in 1988 entered the economy without incident, a small number emerged with subtle but highly significant errors, such as double dies, repunched mint marks, die cracks, and off-center strikes. each of these errors contributing to the dramatic increase in value among collectors who understand the rarity and importance of such anomalies. A double die, for instance, occurs when the coin is struck more than once with misaligned dies, creating a doubling effect on letters or numbers, and in the 1988 penny, certain coins exhibit doubling on the date or on the word Liberty, a feature that is extremely rare and highly sought after. While the minting process is designed to produce millions of identical coins, the machinery involved in striking coins is complex, and any misalignment or extra strike can leave a permanent mark, a mistake that, in normal circumstances, would be corrected or destroyed. But some coins slip through quality control, entering circulation and ultimately creating a numismatic treasure. Another error that contributes to the 1988 penny's incredible value is the presence of repunched mint marks, where the letter denoting the mint, such as a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia, was struck more than once in slightly different positions, a subtle error invisible to the casual observer but extremely significant to collectors who meticulously study every detail of coinage, and this error is compounded by the fact that very few coins exhibit this characteristic, making the 1988 repunched mint mark penny extraordinarily rare. Additionally, die cracks, which occur when the metal dies used to strike coins develop tiny fractures, create raised lines or ridges on the coin's surface, and in the 1988 penny, certain die cracks appear along the rim, the date, or the lettering, providing unique identifiers that authenticate the coin's error status and elevate its value. These cracks are not just imperfections, they are the fingerprints of history, revealing the stresses and limitations of industrial coin production, while some might dismiss them as flaws. Collectors understand that these anomalies are what transform a humble penny into a million-dollar artifact. Moreover, off-center strikes, another rare error found in the 1988 1 cent, occur when the coin is not properly aligned in the press, resulting in a design that is partially missing or shifted, creating a visually striking and unusual coin. The degree of misalignment directly impacts value, with extreme off-center strikes commanding higher prices due to their rarity and dramatic appearance. Some 1988 pennies display minor off-center strikes barely noticeable without magnification, while others show severe misalignments that make them stand out instantly, each example telling a unique story of the minting process and the chance events that lead to a coin being extraordinary. The value of $9.4 million assigned to certain 1988 pennies is a result of multiple factors converging, including rarity, demand, condition, and historical significance. Rarity is perhaps the most obvious factor. Because these errors occurred in extremely limited numbers, only a handful of specimens exist in pristine or near pristine condition, making them highly sought after by serious collectors and investors who recognize that owning such a coin is akin to holding a tangible piece of history. Condition plays an equally critical role, with coins graded at the highest levels, such as MS-70 or PR-70 for proof coins, fetching exponentially higher prices. The 1988 penny, when found in such impeccable condition combined with a rare error, becomes a virtually priceless object, capable of commanding sums that far exceed its nominal face value. Historical significance also drives demand, as collectors and enthusiasts are drawn to coins that reflect the minting practices, errors, and economic context of their time. The 1988 penny, part of the long-standing Lincoln cent series, represents a continuation of a deeply rooted American tradition, connecting modern collectors with over a century of history. Possibilities for variation and undiscovered specimens also fuel the market, because coins exist in private collections, forgotten drawers, and even circulating currency. The true number of 1988 pennies with major errors remains uncertain, and this air of mystery adds to the allure. Potential buyers are constantly searching, examining coin lots, and attending auctions to find that one perfect example that could be worth millions. The excitement surrounding the 1988 penny is not just about money, it is about discovery. About the thrill of finding something that most people overlook, a seemingly insignificant object that hides extraordinary secrets. Collectors study mint records, die variations, and historical documentation to authenticate coins and ensure their provenance, and this painstaking research adds to the credibility and desirability of the 1988 penny. Beyond the well-known errors, There are also subtle anomalies, such as slight misalignments in lettering, weak strikes, and variations in metal composition, all of which contribute incrementally to a coin's rarity and value. The metallurgy of the coin itself, primarily composed of copper, with a thin zinc coating for that period, can display variations in color and texture due to differences in alloy composition or striking pressure, further differentiating a high-value specimen from its more common counterparts. Collectors and numismatists also pay attention to die polishing lines, minting burrs, and planchet flaws, all of which provide unique identifiers. An otherwise ordinary coin with such characteristics can become extraordinarily valuable once properly documented. Authentication is crucial, with professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC providing certification, assigning grades, and verifying error types. A 1988 penny that has undergone rigorous examination and received top certification becomes highly credible, ensuring buyers that they are investing in a legitimate and rare artifact. Auctions for such coins are high-stakes events, often attracting wealthy collectors, investors, and dealers from around the world. Bidding can reach staggering levels as multiple parties recognize the rarity and potential future value of owning a 1988 penny with significant errors, and in some cases, coins have even been purchased for personal collections or as strategic investments, with the expectation that their value will continue to appreciate over time. Market trends and economic conditions also influence prices, because rare coins, like other luxury or collectible assets, are affected by scarcity, demand, and the perception of value. Among collectors, a 1988 penny may fetch millions during a period of high collector interest, while more ordinary specimens remain at modest prices, demonstrating the extreme variability in value based on condition, era type, and historical context. The story of the 1988 penny also illustrates the human fascination with mistakes and anomalies. How something that deviates from the norm can become prized and revered. The errors themselves are evidence of the imperfections inherent in even highly mechanized processes, highlighting the delicate balance between precision and chance. And it is precisely this balance that makes the 1988 penny so captivating. The narrative of a coin worth $9.4 million is not just a tale of monetary value, it is a story about luck, timing, attention to detail, and the enduring appeal of owning a piece of tangible history. Collectors often share anecdotes of discovering rare 1988 pennies in circulation, from rolls of change to old collections inherited from relatives, each discovery sparking excitement and the possibility of uncovering an extraordinary find. These stories fuel the mythos around the coin, attracting even casual enthusiasts who dream of stumbling upon a rare specimen. The 1988 penny's allure is also amplified by the broader context of coin collecting, where rarity, provenance, and condition intersect to create objects of last. Today, as we dive deep into one of the most fascinating and lucrative topics in modern coin collecting, where the seemingly ordinary turns into extraordinary wealth, and today we are going to explore the 2000 USA 1-cent coin, a coin that might appear at first glance to be just another penny in your pocket. Yet it holds a staggering estimated value of $1.14 million due to its unique errors and rare minting anomalies. And as we journey through this story, you will understand why collectors and numismatists are willing to pay astronomical sums for a coin that, to the untrained eye, might seem completely mundane. So let us begin by setting the stage for the year 2000, a year that marked the turn of the millennium and with it, a heightened sense of novelty and attention in all things commemorative, including coins, and the United States Mint was producing billions of coins annually. Yet among these ordinary cents, a select few were accidentally subjected to errors in striking, planchet preparation, and die misalignments, which have become the very factors that make this coin one of the most coveted in the numismatic world. And one of the most intriguing aspects of the 2001 cent is its off-center strike variations, where the metal blank or planchet did not align correctly in the coin press, causing the design to be partially or significantly missing from one side. A flaw that might seem like a defect at first but is actually a rare occurrence that collectors highly prize because the severity and symmetry of the off-center strike can greatly increase the coin's value, and in some cases, coins with off-center strikes of 25 to 40% or more can fetch six-figure sums, And in the case of the 2001 cent, these coins have been meticulously cataloged, verified, and authenticated by top grading companies, adding an extra layer of credibility and demand among serious collectors. But off-center strikes are only one part of the story, as there are other errors, such as double die varieties, where during the minting process the die itself receives multiple impressions, causing the coin to have doubled images on the obverse or reverse, and this subtle doubling might manifest in the letters of liberty, the date 2000, or the motto "In God We Trust," and while casual observers might overlook these minute anomalies, professional numismatists recognize them as key indicators of rarity and value, and in addition to double die errors, some 2001 cent coins exhibit striking anomalies like die cracks and die chips, where the metal of the die used to strike the coin has developed fissures, resulting in raised lines, blobs, or unusual shapes on the coin's surface. And each of these imperfections tells a story of the coin's journey from raw metal to finished currency. And for collectors, the uniqueness of each error becomes a narrative of history frozen in copper-plated zinc, adding immeasurable allure to the coin. Furthermore, there are misaligned planchet issues, where the metal blank itself was improperly prepared, leading to coins that are thinner or thicker in unexpected areas, or coins where the alloy distribution is uneven, causing differences in coloration or weight, and these subtle differences, while minute to the average person, are highly scrutinized by grading experts. And even a slight variation in weight or diameter can turn a seemingly ordinary 2001 cent into a multi-million-dollar treasure, and the provenance of these coins also plays a significant role, as coins that were part of known collections, or that have been documented in numismatic literature, tend to fetch higher values due to their verified history, and in the case of the 2001 cent, certain examples with documented off-center strikes, double die characteristics, or extreme die cracks have been sold at private auctions and recorded in rare coin price guides for figures exceeding $1 million, making them not only a collector's dream but also an investment asset. And another fascinating aspect of the 2001 cent's value lies in its low population of verified error coins, as rarity is one of the strongest drivers of numismatic value, and with only a handful of extreme off-center strikes or prominent double die varieties authenticated, the scarcity ensures that demand from collectors far exceeds supply, which drives the price to the astronomical figure of $1.14 million for the most exceptional specimens. And it is also important to understand the psychology of collecting, where collectors are often willing to pay extraordinary sums for coins that are unique, visually striking, or historically significant, and the 2001 cent combines all of these attributes, representing a convergence of minting anomalies, historical timing, and scarcity that makes it one of the most exciting coins to study and acquire. And if we examine the types of errors in even more detail, we see that off-center strikes can range from slight to extreme, with extreme strikes resulting in more than half of the design missing, revealing just a portion of Lincoln's profile or the wheat ears or shield depending on the reverse. And coins like these are particularly rare because the minting process is typically well controlled, so any deviation represents a momentary failure of quality control, making each coin almost a one-of-a-kind artifact. And similarly, double die errors occur when the die receives a secondary impression without the die being properly aligned, causing letters or numbers to appear duplicated or shadowed, and this subtle doubling is often only visible under magnification. Yet collectors prize these coins because it represents a minting mistake that cannot be replicated, adding authenticity to the coin's uniqueness. And die cracks and die chips are another category that adds immense collectible value, as the fissures or protrusions left by the die create miniature topographies on the coin's surface, resulting in a tactile and visual difference that collectors find irresistible. And the interplay of light on these raised anomalies can make the coin look dramatically different depending on viewing angle, adding an element of dynamic visual interest that is rare in mass-produced currency. And beyond the physical anomalies, there is also the factor of market perception and numismatic trends, as certain years or types of coins suddenly rise in value due to attention in publications, online forums, or auctions. And the 2001 cent has benefited from both physical rarity and the story-driven marketing by collectors and dealers, highlighting the coin as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a piece of American minting history. And even beyond the extreme era coins, minor variations such as repunched mint marks, partial clashes where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet, and even slight off-metal strikes can contribute to the overall value of a coin collection, especially when collectors assemble multiple variations to create a complete narrative of the minting anomalies of a given year. And the 2001 cent has numerous documented minor errors as well, which, while not individually commanding the same six-figure prices as extreme errors, collectively demonstrate the extraordinary nature of that year's minting process, making the year 2000 a focal point for collectors interested in both major and minor anomalies. And from a historical perspective, the turn of the millennium brought a heightened sense of collectability to items produced during this period, and coins minted during significant historical markers often gain extra attention, which further amplifies the market value of rare coins like the 2001 cent. And it is worth noting that the composition of the coin, copper-plated zinc, also played a role in the types of errors that could occur, as the differing hardness of the metals in the planchet could contribute to off-center strikes, die doubling, or planchet splits, which means the intrinsic properties of the materials interacted with the minting machinery to create conditions conducive to collectible errors, and collectors are well aware of this, often seeking coins that exhibit multiple error types, such as an off-center strike combined with a die crack or doubling, which represents a particularly dramatic deviation from standard minting and is a rare convergence. That is exceedingly valuable, and the process of authentication and grading cannot be overstated, as coins must be examined by professional grading services to determine the degree of error, the preservation of the coin, and the authenticity, which ensures that buyers are confident in the legitimacy of a multi-million-dollar purchase. And in the case of the 2001 cent, the highest graded and most dramatic error coins have been encapsulated in protective holders with detailed certification, further solidifying their place in the high-end market. And it is also fascinating to consider the human element, as mint workers, quality control inspectors, and collectors all contribute to the story of these coins, with each coin representing a single moment where human oversight, mechanical operation, and material behavior combine to create something extraordinary and valuable. And collectors often treasure the narrative as much as the physical coin, as owning a 2001 cent with a documented error is akin to possessing a tangible piece of history that can never be exactly replicated. And for investors, the 2001 cent represents a convergence of scarcity, condition, aesthetic appeal, historical significance, and market dynamics, making it both a financial asset and a collectible artifact. And when coins like these are sold at auction, they attract intense bidding wars from collectors and investors alike, which is why prices can reach the remarkable figure of $1.14 million, far exceeding face value and making this coin one of the most exciting modern numismatics